people anxiously awaiting the appearance of Donny Osmond.
70-something.
No, we don't say that on television.
Oh, okay.
There's 500 and some odd people, and they all are. No, they're not all odd. But anyway, this is the hospitality suite portion of our show, and this is a little taste of what you're going to see. I got to keep my eye on this guy. A little bit of a taste of what you're going to see in the main room as we bring celebrities to Aurora for the Beacon News Celebrity Sports Club. Thanks for tuning in.
I thought that was for me. Oh, well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Beacon News Celebrity Sports Club. My name is Jeff Dilge, and I'm your host this evening. On behalf of the Beacon News, all of our co-sponsors, thank you very much for coming. It isn't me, is it? Okay, Vince, can I have a little music back there, please? Set the tone here a little bit.
I closed my eyes, drew back the curtain.
What do you think? You want to see this guy? Ladies and gentlemen, Donny Osmond.
Far, far away, someone was weeping, but the world was sleeping. Any dream will do. I wore my coat with golden lining, bright colors shine.
This is pretty wild stuff. I'm glad you could come out tonight to meet my best new friend, Donny. This is a thrill to have him here. This is our 38th event. I want to thank all of our co-sponsors. You see them listed up here. They've made this possible along with the Beacon News. How about a nice round of applause for them? If you get the opportunity to patronize these people, please do so. This is our 38th event. We've had 25,000 people from the Fox Valley come out to these events, and this is one of the pinnacles, without question. The man who's made this possible, however, is Dave Stamps, the publisher of the Beacon News. Let's give him a nice round of applause. David?
I'm going to make 570 friends tonight by not saying very much. I know you want to hear the young man next to me. All I want to say is thank you for coming tonight. We put on these shows just for fun. We like you to know that the Beacon News is bringing this kind of entertainment to the Fox Valley, so we appreciate that. You keep coming. We'll keep having them. How many are here for we had 38 events. How many are here? This is your first Beacon News celebrity event. Whoa! Well, we know who you came to see then, all right? I know you're going to have a good time tonight. Tell your friends, come back again, and on with the show. Here you go, Jeff.
Thank you. We want to give you guys just a little taste. I'm going to ask, could I get somebody to turn that television set on down there? Just push the power button, and the same over here, please. And I'll ask one of our sponsors, Vince Trotta with Pepsi, by the way. You see all these Pepsi products? Vince Trotta helping us back there. Hit play there, buddy.
May I return to the beginning. The light is dimming, and the dream is true. The world and I, we are still waiting, still hesitating. have to tell her that she still was his. Whoa, ah.
All right. Nice job. Real quick about our format, and please try and follow it so that everybody in this, I'm going to come out there and I'm going to solicit questions and answers in a little bit. And if I could get some help in turning those two TVs off as well, I'd appreciate it. But if you could wait, I'm going to get around the whole room, believe it or not. And if you could save your questions so that so everybody can hear you talk over a mic, that would be good. That way the whole room will enjoy the questions, and Donny will be happy to answer those. Then we're going to have a lot of prizes we're going to give away that Donny will be more than happy to sign them, and you come up, meet Donny. And then we're going to have what time we have remaining. We're going to have some autographs. Okay? But first, we're going to let Donny talk to you for a little bit. Take it away, big guy.
Okay. I'm supposed to say hi to Sue Kanzenbach? Hi! Apparently my #1 fan, right? Well, anyway, let's get started here. I jotted down a couple things. First of all, it's amazing. We had this little reception back there before I came out here, and the paraphernalia that I saw, the old albums and stuff like that. There's one. There it is. Hold it up so everybody can see. And I saw this. Oh, look, there's the pillowcase. There's a Time for Us album. Well, there's 21 years ago? Please don't remind me. Anybody have purple socks? That's what I want to know. Oh, get out of here. You got purple socks on? You have them at home. That doesn't count. What else do you have? Purple underwear. We got to see this, babe. I'm kidding. Sit down, will you? Yeah, get this on tape. It's so funny. I was back there, and who are the people that know the Palmatiers? Right here. I did an interview a couple months ago, and I asked, Mary Elizabeth Pitts is the lady who did the interview with me. And in the interview, she says, what do you like? What are your favorite things? What are your favorite foods? I said, green peas. I love green peas. I don't know why I love green peas. I guess it goes back to when I was a little kid. My father had this garden, and he would plant all these rows of green peas and call it Donny's Row. And every day I would go out there and just pick green peas all day long. It was heaven to me. So that's probably why I have a love of green peas. So she said, well, I know a lot of people who grow peas. I said, please give me their names so I can go out there and pick peas. I can't do anything anonymously, So she finds this lady, really nice lady, Miss Palmatier, who's coming to the show in a couple weeks, apparently. And I go out there thinking I'm going to have just a nice day of picking peas. They got the video cameras out. They're taping the whole thing. And she told me over the phone, she said she's now become the town celebrity. And one other time, I just remembered when you told me about her. I had to move a bunch of things. I'm normal. I got to get a U-Haul. So I went down and got a U-Haul. No, I did. What do you think? I walk on air or something? I had to go get a Johnny Seaton, who plays Pharaoh, he's fabulous. He was at a bar, and he was talking about Joseph. He says, I'm in Joseph, with Donny. And oh, you got to see this. He pulls out the U-Haul receipt that I signed. I got to be careful what I do around here, Anyway, I jotted a couple things down. Some things that you might be interested in knowing. I don't usually talk to a lot of people about my personal life, but I've been married now 16 years, and the same wonderful woman. We met, I was 16, she was 15, and so we were kind of like childhood sweethearts, high school sweethearts. Oh, I'm going to start crying. And we dated for about 3.5 years secretly, you know, because back in those days I couldn't date, you know. How many of you read Tiger Beat? Come on. You're all sick, you know that? How many of you believe the stories that you read in there? You're really sick, lady. But we had to date secretly, you know. I had this code, and I guess I can reveal it now. But I had all these girlfriends all over the country, and they had this special code. I'm not going to reveal what it is because then I'll get a bunch of them. But it was a special code that was put on the back of the envelopes. And my wife never wrote to me, though, when we were dating. She gave me a hard time. She just wouldn't go out with me. She had a boyfriend. I don't want Donnie, you know. I had to fight for her for 3.5 years. Matter of fact, she dated my brother Jay first. And a little after that, I kind of moved in, mowed his grass, and took over. You know what I'm saying? But we've been married now, like I said, 16 years. We have 4 children, 4 boys. The youngest is 3, and next one is 9, and 13, and 15. So all boys, though. Got to find some girls for them. Anyway. Oh, be quiet. Wait, be quiet. I was over at, I got to tell you this funny story that happened to me. I was over at is there a North Riverside Mall? Okay. I was there Friday. You were there? One with the purple underwear. Will you sit down, please? She really wants to show us this underwear, man. So I was sitting there, and you know how people say things they don't really mean, but you take it the wrong way, or at least it comes out the wrong way? This one girl, she comes up, and she's really sweet, but she says, and I know what she meant, but she said, you know, I listen to your music every night, and it puts me to sleep. She's now in traction over the hospital. Just one time I was in an elevator. I got in this elevator, and this little old lady walks in with me, and I'm going up to a floor, and she's going above me. We both push the buttons, and I could see out of the corner of my eye, she looks at me, looks at me again, and she's trying to figure out, and then it comes to her, who I am, just as I get to my floor. And I start to walk out, and she grabs me. And she says, "Do you know who you are?" I know what she meant, but you know what I'm saying. About a month ago, outside the stage door, because I sign autographs after the shows in the evenings, and this little boy, he's probably 6 years old. Matter of fact, this made the paper. Somebody heard about it and made the Tribune. Oh, I shouldn't say that around here. Sorry, Dave. It made the Beacon News. And he was so excited to get my autograph. And he was getting closer and closer. As he was getting closer to the window, I could hear the conversation between this little boy and his dad. And he said, "Oh, Dad, I got to get this guy's autograph. He's going to be famous someday." He's also in traction. People say some of the funniest things, you know. But anyway, I got to tell you, this is a very fun business to be in, show business. But it's a very demanding business. Before I got married, my life was really an open book. Anybody reading Tiger Beat or 16, whatever, they knew what was going on with me. But ever since I got married, I basically closed up half of my life because I think some things need to be sacred. You know, you got to have a personal life, and in this business, if you don't, it'll eat your life. And I've seen a lot of people really fall off the deep end by just revealing all. Their marriages go to pot. Their lives become, well, there's nothing sacred, as I said. So it is a very demanding business. But I got to tell you, it can be very trying because the extremes are great. You know, from the outside looking in, you think the show business is just a lot of fun. It is. But it can be very, very difficult. Those of you who've been following my career, you know that after the Donny Marie show ended, you ever see the Donny Marie show? Okay. I think back of that show and some of the things we used to do, stupid. Sheesh. Remember Captain Purple? Arrow prop. You know, you remember that? Purple spelled backwards. Dumb. Oh, what are some of the other things? Perils of Pauline. Oh, Perils of Marie. Remember that one? Help. And, remember that? Help. And I was the Mountie. Boy, was that a mistake. Oh, what are some of the other things you remember? Ice skating. I was a better ice skater than Marie. I want you to know that. But because of the script and the writers and everything, they wanted me to look dumber. I was better. Osmo Chops. Osmo Chops. Who remembers that skit? Osmo Chops. Whew. Okay, what was this one over there? The pie. Who remembers the pie? How many have no idea what I'm talking about? Our writers, they would come up with the most bizarre things for me to do. And Marie came out and she said, you know, well, she had a pie in her hand, right? And because we did that a lot in the show, a lot of slapstick and everything. And I said, that is stupid, Marie. Everybody knows what you're going to do with that pie. And if I remember it correctly, I said something like, why don't you be original? Why don't you throw a pie at a person? I mean, a person at a pie. And what they did is they made this giant pie, filled it full of cream, real cream, 96 gallons of real whipping cream. Okay, it was a real pie. My brothers picked me up, and they threw me into this 96-gallon pie. I guess you'd say they creamed me. Anyway, what else? What else do you remember about? Oh, shut up. And I'm a little bit rock and roll. You got it, babe. You got it. Mwah. But some of the people we worked with on that show were phenomenal, you know. I remember in the studio, because I was really involved in the audio of the show, because we pre-recorded everything. And it looked live, but Marie and I were really great at lip-syncing, okay? We really got our lip-syncing down. As a matter of fact, it's quite funny. Shure microphones, they even wrote us a letter. What we did, it was so funny. Shure, a regular microphone like this, with this jack right here, and we stuck one of these little antennas. And just stuck an antenna in there. It looked like a wireless mic. Remember those little white mics we used to wear in the concert spot? It was fake. Yeah, there it is. There it is on that album cover right there. Those are Shure microphones. Shure wrote us a letter and said, what have you done to our microphones? We don't make radio microphones like that. We fooled everybody. So anyway, I was down in the studio one night pre-recording Lucille Ball. She couldn't sing worth beans. Couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. And I was sitting there, 17 years old, 17-year-old little kid telling Lucille Ball what to do, right? It was my gig, you know, that's what I did for a living. And I remember telling Lucy, I said, Lucy, that was horrible. One more time. I'd rewind the tape. Lucy, you're flat. Please, Lucy. And let's see, who else? John Wayne. I remember working with John Wayne. Buddy Hackett. Paul Lynde. Remember Paul Lynde? He was like a semi-regular. Ruth Buzzy. Oh, who else? Just tell you name. Oh, you know, nobody knows this because it never made the air. Groucho Marx was on our show. And he was so ill at the time, but he wanted to do the show. And he had his nurse there, making sure that his blood pressure didn't go up too high. And if it did, they had to pull him from the show. Well, at the end of the show, we had all these finales. You know, the balloon drop. Remember the balloon drop? Well, he was in our finale, and we had to cut him because his blood pressure was going up. The nurse pulled him from the set. And it really made me upset because here's a legend, you know, that could have been on the air. And they bulk erased the tapes. I don't even have a copy of what he did to save room in the vault. They bulk erased all those tapes. But I got his autograph on this canvas. I have this canvas at home of all these people's autographs. It's really kind of awesome. One of these days I'll hang it up on the wall. It's funny, I don't hang any of those kinds of things on the wall, gold records or anything like that. It's kind of a plain office. I don't really get into hanging up gold records. The bubblegum cards? You don't tell me you got the bubblegum cards. The full set? Lady, you're sick. $1,000 for bubblegum cards? Maybe I'm sick. How would it be to get royalties from that? I gotta call my lawyer. Disney, Sunday night shows? Never did it, babe. Oh, yeah, I remember that. With Kurt Russell. We did a show for Disney called the Haunted Mansion, or Haunted House or something. Haunted Mansion. It's when the Haunted Mansion opened up at Disneyland. I remember that now. Boy, I've done a lot of stuff in my life. Did you know that I started my career in Chicago? Yeah. At the McCormick place, the old McCormick place, the one that burnt down. That's where I did my very first show. I was with Andy Williams. Yeah. You know, it's quite interesting. What's that? What was the song? You Are My Sunshine. You are my sunshine. I was 5 years old. Actually, I started singing when I was 4, and I made my television debut, I think, at 5. And the mail response from Andy Williams' show was so great that when he was touring with my brothers, it was a Christmas tour, it was around November, late November, he called my mother, because my father was out there with my brothers, and he said, put Donny on a plane. So my mother put me on a plane by myself at 5 years old. From Los Angeles, I flew to Chicago. I'll never forget it. They served me lobster tail in first class. I said, yes, show business is my life, baby. You know, all I remember of that show are the flash bulbs and the smiles and the applause. Because here, you know, I'm 5 years old. Put yourself in my position. I was singing at Family Home Evening. As Mormons, we have a program once a week. We have Family Home Evening. We shut the world off, we shut the TV off, the phone, and we just are a family. And we talk, we have fun together, sing songs, whatever. And in Family Home Evening, I would sing in front of my family. I would learn a song. And so here is this five-year-old little kid just doing his gig, right? Just like a Family Home Evening. And I walk out on stage, and I see Andy, and I see the brothers, and I see all the people. And so I start singing. I hear the band. Doot-it, doot-it. That's how it started. And you are my sunshine. And I just kept going. And I thought, this is fine. It's just like home, you know? And I finished the number, and wow! Applause, standing ovation. And then I said, yes, it really is my business. That's where it all started. But that's all I remember, the flash tubes, the standing ovation, and all the smiles on everybody's face. I thought, boy, this is cool. This is a great business. Let me take you through a little chronology here. After the Donny Marie show ended, a very interesting thing happened in my career. Nothing. Actually, that's not quite true. There was still a demand for Donny and Marie. And so we would tour together, I think up until about 85, 86 or something like that. But the venues were getting a little smaller and smaller. The demand was getting a little weaker and weaker, and I didn't see any future in this. Clear back in 1980 when we ended this thing, I thought, you know, I got to do something different. Because you got to, like we were talking back in the other room, you got to recreate yourself in show business. You got to have something fresh and new all the time. And you got to make sure it's great. Otherwise, the audience gets bored. I'm sorry, I hope none of you get offended when I say this, but you are a bunch of fickle people. Seriously, you are. You know, the old stuff you kind of hold on to because it reminds you of your past. And it's very exciting and fun to remember your past because it was all innocent. But as far as staying fresh and staying in the public's eye and being a viable artist, you have to come out with something new all the time. So I headed for Broadway. You know what happened there? You heard about that? Oof. I opened and closed in one night, which was really devastating, but to say the least. But I wanted to get back into recording in the worst way. Some of you have heard this story before, either in the press or speaking or whatever. It's kind of an interesting story I want to tell you. How much time do I have, by the way? No. What time do you want me to end this thing, Davey?
Couple more minutes, we'll take some questions and answers.
Couple more minutes? Couple more minutes? When am I leaving? December.
Okay, then take all the time you want.
Okay. No, I'll make it quick. I won't drag this thing on. I'll put it in an encapsulated form here. I tried to get my recording career going because that's where my real love is. I love recording. So after many, many attempts at it, in 1987, I met up with Peter Gabriel in New York. We were doing a show together. It was for UNICEF. It was a benefit concert. And he said, well, what are you doing with your recording career? Because he was really familiar with what happened over in England. Over in England, it was so much bigger there than it was here in the States. They called it Osmond Mania over there. Oh, I could tell you stories about, oh, man, I could go all night about what happened over in England. No, never mind. Stick to one story here. So he said, why don't you come over to England and record? Long story short here, I went over there, released a bunch of records, and nothing really happened. I released songs, I don't know, maybe if you're familiar with the Donny Osmond album, the one with Soldier of Love on it, but I released, oh, there it is, right there. I released a song called Groove. If It's Love That You Want, I think, if it's love that you want. I released that one, and I released one more, and I can't think of what it is. And then I released Soldier of Love. Nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. Then Soldier of Love went up to about 31 and dropped off the charts. I thought, it's never going to happen. So, without giving you a sob story, I went back to America, went to Utah in my parents' home. It was Christmas of '88. And I thought to myself, you know, because there wasn't a record company in the United States that would sign me. They wouldn't dare touch me. So to change the image and all that kind of stuff would be too tough. So I went back, and a couple of days before Christmas, I get a call from my manager. And he says, you're not going to believe this, but the #1 radio station in New York, which is the #1 radio market in the world, is playing your record. I said, don't even kid about a thing like this. He said, no, it's really true, but there's one problem. They're not saying who it is. They're afraid to say your name.